Welcome back, my dear students. I just would like to tell you something about the previous selection. You will find in the video itself, in the YouTube videos, in the description, you will find some links for the story itself, for some information about Leo Tolstoy and what is a folk tale. Please watch them. So we are going to our next second short story or second folk tale. It's written, as we've mentioned, by Yoshiko Yoshida. It's very interesting and it's a little bit longer than the first one, which was just one or half of a page. Also, it's discussing the same theme, elders, but let's check exactly about elders. So let's get started. Many long years ago, the setting is not very clear, but it's clear that it's long years ago, there lived an arrogant and cruel young ruler. Lord is actually our main character, or one of the main characters, who ruled over a small village in the western hills of Japan. The time is not mentioned, but it's mentioned it's in Japan. I have no use for all people in my village, he said haughtily. They are neither useful nor able to work for living. I therefore decide or decree that anyone over 71 must be banished from the village and left in the mountains to die. Can you imagine this happening to your parents? That the president saying that your parents, whenever they reach 71 years old, they must leave your town or your city to die far away because we don't need them. They are not useful at all. They are not able to work. They are useless. This is the idea. Those are the ideas of our cruel, arrogant young Lord. What a dreadful decree, what a cruel and unreasonable Lord we have. The people said this quietly of the village. The people murmured the words of the Lord. This decree is dreadful, it's awful, it's cruel, what he is saying. But the Lord fearfully punished anyone who disobeyed him. Anyone who doesn't agree or accept this law, he will be punished as well. And so villagers, the people living in the village who turned 71, were tearfully carried while the kids are crying and in tears, carried them into the mountains and never to return. Awful, right? Gradually, there were fewer and fewer old people in the village, and soon they disappeared altogether. The young Lord was pleased. Yes, I'm happy now. No old people anymore. Just healthy, young, fit youth who can do anything. And he dreams that one day, because of this, will be the finest village in all of Japan. So why does the young Lord decide that all people must be banished? Please write down the answer. How would you describe the setting shown down in this picture? Look at this picture and what do you think? What can you say about the time, the place, which country, how civilized or not civilized are they? Take your time and write down the answers as well. So let's keep going. Now there lived in this village a kind of young farmer and his aged mother. Two characters appeared, and they are also very important characters in our selection. They were poor, but the farmer was good to his mother, and the two of them, can you see the difference between how this farmer is different than the young lord, how he treats his mother, and everything between them is very good. They lived happily together. However, as the years went by, the mother grew older, and before long she reached the terrible age of 71. The young man, the young peasant, the poor peasant is thinking, if only I could somehow deceive this cruel lord. But there were records in the village books, and everyone knew that his mother had turned 71. Everything is written down. You cannot deceive the Lord. There are documents that, like ID, and we will know that your mother has reached 71, so there is no way. Each day the son puts off telling his mother. He doesn't know what to do actually. Imagine you are in this position and you have to tell your mother, Mom, I need to take you now to the mountain to leave you there to die. Of course, it's not a very good thing to do. Each day the son put off telling his mother that he must take her into the mountains to die. But the people of the village began to talk. They started, why the mother of this peasant is still in our village? Why is this? They started talking. The farmer knew that if he did not take his mother away soon, the Lord would send his soldiers and throw them both in a dark dungeon to die a terrible death. So he is actually, this is kind of internal conflict. Please write this down because you'll be asked about this. Mother, he began as he tried to tell her what he must do, but he could not go on. And actually this definitely happened with each and everyone in the village. But let's see what's peculiar and different in this villager than the others. Mother, he would begin. He doesn't know. He cannot say, Mother, I need to take you to the village, to the mountains to throw you there. Then one day the mother herself spoke of the Lord's dread decree. Well, my son, she said, the time has come for you to take me to the mountains. We must hide before the Lord sends his soldiers for you. And she did not seem worried actually at all that she must go to the mountain. The young peasant, forgive me, dear mother, for what I must do. The farmer said this sadly, of course. And the next morning he lifted his mother to his shoulders and set off on the steep path towards the mountains. So they are going now, and he decided, and the mother already took the decision that you must take me, my son, I'm afraid for you. Can you see how the mother still cares for the son? Let's see what else she is going to do. Up and up he climbed until the trees clustered close, and the path was gone. There was no longer even the sound of birds, and they heard only the soft wail of the wind in the trees. The son walked slowly, for he could not bear to think of leaving his old mother in the mountains. He doesn't want to stop. He walked slowly because he knows this is going to be the first and last time he will see the mother. Oh, not the first time. He is going to see his mother for the last time. On and on he climbed, not wanting to stop and leave her behind. Soon he heard his mother breaking off small twigs, small pieces from the trees that they passed. Mother, what are you doing? Don't worry, my son. I'm just making the way you will not get lost returning to the village. Even now you are thinking of me. Of course, my son. You will always be in my thoughts. How could it be otherwise? So as you can see, the mother still cares for the son. And she is making sure that he will not get lost getting back to his village. Of course, we can say this is a turning point in the character of our young peasant, as he cannot take it any longer. Mother, I cannot leave you in the mountains to die all alone. We are going home, and no matter what the Lord does to punish me, I will never desert you again. I'll never leave you again. So why does the son decide to disobey the decree even though he might be punished? Why do you think this? Write also your answers down. So they waited until the sun had set and a lone star crept into the silent sky. Then, in dark shadows of night, the farmer carried his mother down the hill and they returned quietly to the little house. So the farmer dug a deep hole in the floor of the kitchen and made a small room where he could hide his mother. From that day, she spent all her time in the secret room, and the farmer carried meals for her. So he hid his mother in the kitchen, or in a room he made and dug in the kitchen. The rest of time he was careful to work in the fields and act as though he lived alone. In this way, for almost 2 years, he kept his mother safely hidden, and no one in the village knew that she was there. This is a very famous painting, Japanese painting, and as we said, this is a folk tale, so properly also Japanese parents, before their kids sleep, they tell them such story. And this painting is taken or inspired by this folk tale, and its name, you can find it also in the internet, The Moon and the Abandoned Old Woman. As you can see, the man is carrying his mother up to the mountains to leave her to see her for the last time. Now, this is another character. Also, I want you to try to answer according to the appearance. What do you see here? What can you see about his? What can you know about this character from the appearance of this Lord? This is our new antagonist, the new character, Lord Higa. Lord Higa is a terrible lord as well. He threatened to conquer the village and make it his own. He's another lord from another place. He decided to conquer this village which we're talking about. Only one thing can spare you. This is what Lord Higa is saying. Bring me a box containing 1,000 ropes of ash, and I will spare you the village. So he is asking them to make 1,000 ropes of ash. Ash, when you burn something, so it turns to ash. So he needs ropes, 1,000 ropes of ash, and I will spare you. This is the only way I will leave your city. The cruel Lord, our Lord, quickly gathered together all the wise men of his village. You are men of wisdom. Surely you can tell me how to meet the Lord Higa's demands so our village can be spared. But the wise men shook their heads. It's impossible to make even one rope of ash, sir. So they all answered, how can we make 1,000? Well, how can we ever make 1,000 if you cannot make one? Fools, the Lord said, cried angrily. Cried like shouted, not just cry like with tears. What good is your wisdom if you cannot help me now? The young Lord, is hopeless now. His wise men cannot do anything, so he decided to post a notice in the village square offering a great reward of gold to any villager who could help him save the village. But all the people in the village whispered, surely it's an impossible thing, for an ash crumbles like disappears at the touch of the finger. How could anyone ever make a rope of ash? Alas, alas, so that's all. We must be defeated by yet another cruel lord. The young lord too supposed that this must be the case now, and he wondered what would happen to his mother if a new lord, even more terrible than their own, came to rule over them. When his mother saw the troubled look on his face, she asked, "Why you are so worried, my son?" So the farmer told her of this impossible demand of Lord Haga if the village was to be spared, but his mother did not seem troubled at all. Instead, she laughed softly and said, "Why is that is not such an impossible task. All one has to do is soak ordinary rope in salt water and dry it well. When it burns, it will hold its shape, and there is your rope of ash. Tell the villagers to hang and find 1,000 pieces of rope." So the mother found the solution to this riddle the Lord Haga gave. The farmer shook his head in amazement. "Mother, you are wonderfully wise." And he ran to tell the Lord. The Lord was very happy and satisfied, and he decided to reward. "You are wiser than all the wise men of the village." And he rewarded him with many pieces of gold. So, what do you learn from those lines up there till E? What do you learn about the old woman from the way that she solves the village's problem? So, we will stop here today and continue later. See you soon.